Welcome back everyone to Pineleaf Plays the Warlock. And I am here in Korthos Island, or Korthos Village more precisely, and I have earned my first enhancement. I always forget about those things, so I'm not going to skip on that. Instead, I'm going to see what we have on the enhancements trees. First we have the half-elf tree, which I've never looked too much on it, but perhaps this is half-elf. You could choose for which heritage you take after, leaving your choice either human or core. Elven core enhancement you select. This enhancement increases your range of your point-blank skill, range, sneak attack. Human core. This enhancement has no effect. Alright. I presume it has effects later on or something like that. Whatever. What I'm interested in, though, are one of these others, the class-specific ones. You have a choice between the Soul Eater, which doesn't sound very nice for someone who's lawful good. Tainted Scholar also doesn't sound very much for lawful good. Or Enlightened Spirit. Now that sounds like something that'll go with someone who is lawful good. So that's what I am going to be doing today. And the first one is the Eldritch Aura. Alright. And I will close this and add that aura to my aura. Now this is an alternate form of the right, I thought so. I want to get this for UI settings, this, alright. I want to move this here because I'm going to tend to keep that on, and this is where I'm going to keep my stances. And therefore the Eldritch Aura will go here. And I like to switch back and forth between the two stances. So therefore let's close that and everything's fine. Now let's see what I have on my daily dice. Actually, I'm going to do the daily dice at level 2. I don't know if levels make that big of a difference on when you take such things. Alright, I'll go looking for the Spirit Binder. Alright, so I just like to do it. Not as if I have really all that great of a need for a Spirit Binder at when you're still on Korthos Island, but I'm sure at some point I did find one or two weird ways to get killed. Yeah, resurrect me here if I die. Now, I don't know what happens if you don't go to the Spirit Binder. I think you just wind up going back to where you enter when you first enter Korthos Village. There's not much of a difference here. I think that the only reason why they have one here is to make sure you know where to find one. Or what they look like and how they work. Alright, let's see. I swear to Sibris, there's unholy wailing coming out of Heyton's family crypt. No one wants to check on it, for fear of the Sahuagin and their cronies. But what could they want with Heyton's crypt? Oh dear. Doesn't anyone go and see it? Alright. The Sahuagin may have cowered this village, but not me. I shall make sure the evil hasn't polluted the Heyton crypt. Alright, let's go into the Heyton Crypt. Heyton Family Crypt, you could select difficulty. Well, I'll just do normal difficulty. I'm still trying to learn how to use this class.
Coming from deep in the crypt, you hear the strange and unsettling echoes that Kaya spoke of. And by the passage leading in, a grim-faced man glares at you.
Jacoby Drexelhand. How nice. Hello, Jacoby.
I haven't seen you before. You know the Korthos? Well, you should go back to the village. The crypt is falling apart. You could trip in the rubble and hurt yourself.
Yes, the villagers are talking about some strange noises down here, and I'm going to investigate. Let me through. Fine, don't come crying to me after you trip on the dark and break your neck. Well, if I tripped in the dark and broke my neck, I wouldn't be able to cry to you, would I?
Strange. Sarcophagi line the walls, but they're broken open and empty. Where did the bodies go?
You really don't want to know.
You notice something strange about the wall to the west. If you search the wall, you may discover more.
Well, do I discover more?
You found some kind of secret door in the wall. Once you open it, you can reach whatever's behind it. This is a dark and dusty passage.
Right.
It doesn't look like anyone's come through here in decades.
Well, this is an alternate route through the dungeon, but let's take the main route. It's not like there's any treasure or anything like that back there. I just did to see if I can find the secret door. Alright. So let's blast a few of these guys and...
What were those cultists up to?
No idea.
This bears more investigation.
Alright.
A treasure chest glimmers in the dark passage here. Though rusty, this longsword is still sharp. It's a slashing weapon, perfect for slicing through putrid zombie flesh that would resist puncturing or bludgeoning weapons.
Yeah.
As
There
you
we go.
slay these foul cultists, take care to keep your own health up.
Well, fortunately, I had no trouble with the... what I was doing there. Alright, let's see now.
There's a Sahuagin in here, performing some kind of ritual.
I like to kill these guys as fast as possible because there's an optional problem.
Rise and do my bidding. The Sahuagin were using this vile devourer alt. A magical crest appears from the destroyed altar. If you take it with you, it may be useful later.
I find some
You
classes...
continue to hear cultists about their evil work from further inside the crypt.
I found some classes have an easier time than others in completing that optional of being able to kill all three of those necromancers before they are able to do anything. But the Warlock seems to be pretty good at it.
Another treasure chest. Perhaps the cultists brought it here, but it's yours now.
Yeah. But hopefully I'll get to using that aura in a moment. Right now, my main concern is being able to kill those Wagon necromancers as quickly as possible.
This heavy mace is a bludgeoning weapon, ideal for smashing apart skeletons. Their bones are resistant to puncturing or slashing weapons.
Right. Well, I'm not going to worry about that too. I usually don't worry about that all that much. I keep on doing that. Oh, because
There's
the turn
another
is in the opposite direction
Sahuagin.
here.
It croaks.
Cragwolf Heyton, in life you served the light.
These devourer altars will create another crest drops out as you smash the altar. There might still be other altars elsewhere in this crypt.
Yo, you think so? We'll see. Then back up the stairs. I always get turned around at that one. Well, maybe not always, but the last couple of times I've done this adventure that's happened.
A magical barrier blocks the way, and behind it, another Sahuagin performs unholy rituals at a devourer altar.
Obvious.
This barrier appears linked to 3 sockets in the wall. If you find the crests to those sockets, it may allow you passage.
And of course, I found 2 of them already. Alright. That's quick work of that. And now, of course, want to get the...
A chest. It's out in the open and unprotected. And that's probably what the dead cultist... There's something odd on the wall. Possibly dangerous. If you search, you may be able to find out more.
Alright. And yeah, there's a trap there, but of course, I don't have any
You found the
skills to
triggering
that.
mechanism for some sort of trap in this room. It would take someone trained as a rogue or artificer to disarm it.
And I am neither of those.
Acid sprays out of the wall as the gate slams shut.
I'm surprised they didn't have a bunch of Sahuagin jump out, but oh. Well, I guess there wouldn't be a dead cultist if that were the case. Alright. Alright, so let's see. A hat of resistance +1. Yeah, I guess I could use that. Good. Well, I don't need that rusty longsword, so I'll just dump that. And as for this, well, the rusty mace is a better weapon, but I don't think I'm going to be too much into maces, so therefore I'm going to handle it that way. Sometimes style is more important than a couple extra points of damage. Alright. And there we go. Then again, maybe the mace might not be that bad of a choice. Probably depends on what I'm doing with the character, but with the
In the
type
middle
of
of this
warlock I am.
chamber is an evil devourer altar. Fire, a Sahuagin rumbles.
For generations, the human...
The Sahuagin's plan must have been to use these devourer altars to animate every... When the altar collapses, a third crest appears.
Thank you.
It glows with cold magic.
Well, of course. So I managed to get all 3 optionals. That's good. So this is pretty much, I won't say quite, it's a semi-tutorial, I guess you could say, since you had the tutorial before, but getting an idea how a dungeon works is pretty much the point of this whole thing.
You fit the last crest in place, and the magic shield dissipates. The Sahuagin inside
spits out in a venomous voice. These fools who would keep Korthos shall be consumed by the Devourer.
Yeah, right. Right, well, let's devour the devourer.
Your bold action saved Korthos and brought the Sahuagin's fell scheme to naught. The treasure chest in the antechamber is now yours.
Alright, let's claim our chest. Light shield, nope. Gold, nope. Nope. Well, maybe someday I'll grab shield proficiency just to gain a little bit extra or something like that, but obviously if I do use quarterstaffs that won't go with it. I'll decide exactly how I'm going to equip myself, what will be most consistent with my style and stuff like that. But that's the end of that dungeon, so let's get out of here. If I was a traditional warlock, maybe the whole thing with the quarterstaff would have been the best idea, but I'm thinking that being the protector type, or let's see, what is the tree I'm using, the enlightened spirit, they're a little bit more into using weapons and the like, so therefore using a more optimal weapon might actually fit with them. Now, if you're always using Eldritch Blast like I was using in that last dungeon, the weapon doesn't really mean all that much except for maybe some bonus stats and stuff like that. Physical resistance rating, when the Eldritch Aura is active, +1 to AC, and believe me, when I have Eldritch Aura active, it probably means I'm in the thick of things and more likely to need a bonus AC, so that's actually useful. The magic resistance rating, heal, balance, and intimidate. So for now, let us go with this +1 to AC. Accept. Alright, let's close that and let's report to Kaya. Pineleaf, I was afraid you'd been hurt. Did you look into the crypt? What's in there? The Sahuagin were resurrecting the Heytons, turning their bodies into undead minions. But don't worry, I put a stop to it. Oh, how horrible! Oh, but what about... did you find Lars Heyton? Was it... you didn't find a trace of him down there, so he could still be alive. Oh, you've done the world a lot of good. Alright, thank you. And I get a choice between the... This Amulet of the Brute. I'm wondering, does anyone ever actually choose this one? Alright, this has the Curse of Dullness. -1 penalty to intelligence. Curse of Foolishness. -1 penalty to wisdom. Constitution, +1. Unless you had an odd-numbered constitution, it does no help and hurts 2 of your stats, even if they're likely your dump stats if you're in a class that would consider this. I mean, why would... I don't even take it with a fighter. I just say about that. Inner focus. Okay, concentration +1, will save +1. At least it gives you a plus to will save, even if you don't...
Some of the braver villagers tried to stem the Sahuagin tide, but their courage led to naught but grievous injuries. Korthos needs someone with more than just guts.
Alright. So, let's see. And, of course, the vendor. What would I like to trade? Alright, sell gems. It's always a nice thing to do. This fine sand. The only spell I... Well, let's see. The Obscuring Mist, which I kept on forgetting to use, doesn't use any material components, so therefore I'm only currently using it on the Summon Monster 1. I sell the Dragon Shard stuff since I'm not going to be using that any. So that leaves the Light Wooden Shield. Actually, maybe I should consider... Let me think on before I permanently decide not to do anything with that. And the Light Wooden Shield. Right now I'm going to hold on to it until I decide what... Actually, by the time I am going to be proficient in shields, I'm sure I would have found 5 or 6 that are much better than that. So don't hang on to it. No use on wasting inventory space for that. Alright, let's see. We'll have to decide what to do on that matter in a moment. Some of the stuff is just going to... So I could put a potion to heal myself here. That will be useful, just in case I'm ever low on hit points. And speaking of useful, you might as well buy yourself a hireling. How am I doing with funds? 51 platinum. That's a decent amount. Alright. I just traditionally buy clerics. I think they're reasonably useful overall. And that is it for that. So next time, we are going to speak with Linus here and help him with his little problems. In the next episode of Pineleaf Plays The Warlock.